Within D&D, there are generally two forms of leveling: experience points and milestone. Now, no doubt you saw the title, but I want to make one thing perfectly clear, especially for those of you already typing without listening. I have a fondness for XP leveling. Seeing that number go up and eventually pass a certain threshold, it scratches that part of my brain. Also, yes, XP can and should be rewarded for more than just combat. Experience points can be a very fun way to play the game and reward players beyond the means of inspiration. Those are all valid. And if that's the way you play, then that's fantastic. No debates here. However, I permanently stopped using XP because I realized a few things. Firstly, it can turn TTRPGs into feeling more like a video game, where you're doing everything you can to get to that next level up, rather than pushing the story ahead. In theory, you could go out and hunt for boars endlessly and level up without advancing the story. And yes, early on in the adventure path, Wrath of the Righteous for Pathfinder 1st edition, before it was a video game, it was an adventure path, funnily enough, there is a room where enemies spawn each time you enter it, which means you could theoretically leave and come back and keep farming those experience points. The other thing is that it can become super easy for some players to just blitz ahead from the other party in terms of leveling. Generally speaking, if a player soloed an entire counter, they get the experience points. But of course, you don't have to follow this. But this is an aspect that can happen and did happen in one of my old Pathfinder 1st edition games. Someone who knew the game inside and out created a character so busted, he was able to solo 6 zombies at level 2. Which quickly advanced his character up to level 3 or close to it. It's been a while. Basically, the reason I stopped using XP in favor of milestone is generally due to my shift in attitude toward the game as a whole. I still have a fondness for it, but I enjoy what milestone can provide. It can create a game where the DM has a greater sense of keeping things on track level-wise. Not only that, make sure that everyone is on the same level, and not to mention a greater sense that the players and DMs are telling the stories together. Now, of course, milestone has its own problems, as it can also encourage a railroad and potentially favor more linear games. However, my solution to this is basically just to pivot with the party. If you have an intended level up for the campaign or arc, but the players go on a different direction, pivot and see where it goes. Just move the goalposts of what the level up would be. That makes just as much sense. So yeah, that's ultimately why I moved away from XP leveling, is that it just started to make the game feel more like a video game. And honestly, if I wanted that number fix, I'd just play a video game. And that'll do it for this week, folks. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.